Well, hello, friends. We're back and it's worm feeding time. We have 4 active tiers right now, going to essentially breeder bin levels, so very low levels of worms in here. But it's been about, well, it's been about, let's say, almost 10 days since they were fed. And granted, they were fed very minimal amounts last time. We're also mostly feeding minimal amounts this time. I have some frozen watermelon rinds that are now defrosted. I have a previously frozen and forgotten banana that has seen better days, which I'm going to just try giving to one of the tiers just for funsies. And then I also have some fresh watermelon, which I did not previously freeze, but unfortunately it did not, I could not consume it quick enough. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up like usual. And as it was suggested by Michael, we should check our little bottom section down here to see what's going on. And got some worms in here, not too many. So we're just going to leave them be in here and then get back to feeding. So tier 1 is what we're looking at first. And I'm looking at my notes here and it says the right wall. They got a little bit of watermelon. So let's take a take a look-see here. Okay, I see a little bit of watermelon rind, but I don't see any. Okay, there are some worms there. Well, all right. Well, then I won't fuss with that side too much. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to give them the frozen or previously frozen banana, just because. Why not? And we're going to put that in the middle. And I think it's going to take them a little bit of time to work through this. So I'm not expecting a miracle. I'm not even breaking it down. I'm literally just covering it. Boom. Banana. Let's see how that goes. I've never done that before. And we're going back to tier 2. And I looked at my notes and it says about the same. Feeding was on this right side. And it looks like we're seeing some more, just the very edge of the watermelon rind. So just a little bit. It is a little wet in here for my comfort levels. Like I don't know if you guys could hear it squishing around a little bit. But what I would like to do, there's plenty of worms in here. So we'll just keep it kind of going. This middle spot looks nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's give these guys some of the fresh watermelon to work on since they are still finishing up the rinds from last time. But what I want to do is I'm going to take this paper towel and I'm going to put it down like this. And then there is some juices in here, so they're going to get that. Boop. And then I'm going to put some bedding on top. And I always have my bag of pre-shredded cardboard paper bags, whatever, ready for such an occasion. And it looks like a lot, and it probably is a lot of bedding, but you can never have too much bedding. And because we have a lot of the fresh food in there, I want to make sure it's well buried. And if there is any problem with the moisture levels, that will help balance everything out. So, tier 2, done. These are generally pretty small feedings that we've been doing, so same has pretty much been going on over here, although this tier looks beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, they're just about done in there. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just focus on the middle since that seems to be the theme for the day. And we're just going to make sure there's nobody immediately here. Boop, boop, boop. And then I'll just give them, let's say, about half of this bag of frozen watermelon. I think this is a more established tier, but we've pulled worms out previously. So, whoop, yeah, there we go. That seems like enough. Sound effects are optional when you feed your worms, but I think you'll find that you're doing it more than you realize. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this with paper towels this time. And then we'll just go ahead and lightly, I don't want to say cover, but we're sort of covering. We're just securing the paper towels down. Simple, simple. Before we get to our final tier 3, I just want to show you our renter mess check. Still not making too many messes. Some of this is probably castings, but honestly some of this is probably just moose tracks, but very minimal. So if you're a renter and you're worried about the mess or potential mess that castings could make, or at least this setup, I would not worry. It's generally a pretty clean experience. Okay, so tier 3, here we go. Now I wrote down in my notes that they got a very, very little feeding, but we also put a huge amount of watermelon water in here, which sounds like something I would do. So let's check on just general. Okay, well, we can tell right off the bat by looking at this that the moisture levels are definitely more like this. You could tell this paper and cardboard and the like are wet. So we'll probably just go ahead and add a little extra bedding. I'm not going to dig too hard for food because I doubt we're going to see much in here. I don't see any. All right, so let's go to the middle and we'll go ahead. Hello. Look at all these worms. Okay, we're going to go ahead and actually I'll take one step of extra precaution. We'll put that pre-existing paper towel down. We will feed them just a little bit of watermelon, and then we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of the existing bedding that's here, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to add more bedding just because I don't want it to get too damp in here with all the watermelon that we're feeding them. And you know, ooh, we got some apparently, oh yeah, I can't run these through the shredder. So there's paper bag toppers, so we'll leave those in there and they'll break down over time. I'm not worried. So we'll refresh some bedding, make sure they got nice large spaces to run through if they so choose. Not that the worms are running anywhere. But yeah, they quick and easy feeding. I will say, I think keeping those smaller levels of oops, I think I see what went wrong. I put it on wrong again. So we were supposed to be checking on this side. You think there's food in there? Let's check. Let's check really quick. This is where they were potentially fed. No, not really. I don't see much. Okay. So I will say, having had the lower levels of worms over here in the Hot Frog, I don't know, it's been like a month or two now, has been easier to maintain, in my opinion, because that you know that you're working with limited worms, and I think there's a difference. I'm trying to get this like little baby worm. I don't want to squish him. So I think when you initially get started, if you only get 250 or 500 worms, you don't really realize that that's not like a tremendous amount of worms, and by extension you don't need to feed a tremendous amount of food. So you don't know any better. So it's not unheard of for a new person, myself included, to overfeed. But now that I know the small feedings are expected for the smaller levels of worms, it's a little bit easier, and the amount of food that you have to defrost and worry about for each layer is a lot lower. And by extension, because I have moved so many of the worms to the urban worm bag out on my patio, it's easier to feed that because I know there's more worms there, and theoretically they should be handling and processing more food. So I can just make like one big frozen ball of food and get that ready, whether it's a big watermelon rind, just one big thing, or a whole bunch of mixes, which hopefully you saw the video yesterday because we did a cool burrito feeding. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to do that. We're testing out or experimenting with the burrito feeding method out there. So it's just really cool, and I'm a year and change in, almost a year and a half in, and I'm still learning things, and it's part of the joys of worming. So I hope you guys to check out more videos and subscribe so you can keep watching all of the progress on these bins.